everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Gabby and I'm the face behind the green bell, your place for clean beauty, luxury clean beauty, and kind of just toning it down, being a little bit more minimal, and looking at your collection as a kind of capsule makeup collection. So with that being said, today I am going to be reviewing, comparing, demoing the Westman Atelier Super Loaded Tinted Highlight. I have all three colors that I've collected over time, but like pretty quickly over time, I have to say. I started with the original Peau de Peche, which is this beautiful bronzy, kind of warm, I don't really know if I'd call it peach, but definitely like a warm kind of pinky bronze. And this was the original, and you can see I've been using this up. I think I purchased this at the mid to end of November. It was before we locked down again, so I think it was sometime in November, and I've been using this like crazy because it's so beautiful. And then I also purchased the La Holiday box, which also came with the Peau de Rose, and I haven't really used this as much, and I'll explain why once we get into the video. And then recently Westman Atelier sent me the Peau de Soleil, and I'm so grateful because I get to complete my collection and share it with you. And this is definitely a goldeny, kind of coppery bronze shade. Let me just explain what these are, because they're kind of like a little bit of a peculiar product. You're kind of confused if it's a highlight to put on your cheekbones. Do you put it as a blush topper? Is it a bronzer? Like, what is this? And I think the whole beauty of them is that they really can be used in so many different ways. You can use them really however you please, and a lot of the time I'll be applying these on their own, and I find that it kind of just gives me that like warmth, color, pigment, and luminosity that I love. They are highlighting creams to deliver luminous warmth in universally flattering shades. They're soothing, easy to apply, multi-purpose for eyes, cheeks, face, infused with a combination of antioxidants and hydrators. Nourishes and treats skin while enhancing natural glow. So these are free of silicones, parabens, PEGs, talc, phthalates, and there's no animal testing. They have hyaluronic acid, which is really good for kind of plumping up the skin. Caper extract, which they say is a soothing extract to help reduce inflammation and enhance the skin's well-being. And organic jojoba oil, which is a natural antioxidant, going to give lots of moisture and juiciness and nourishment. Those are like the highlighted ingredients. So she says you can apply these with the blender brush, which I do not have. I think I will be purchasing that in the future. Maybe a little investment, treat myself. And you're going to follow your cheekbone and work up, and you can also apply it to your eyelids for a pop. So let's just do some swatching because I feel like it helps kind of get an idea. Now obviously I am a kind of like light warm undertone complexion. Let's start with the OG Peau de Peche. This is actually the first shade that they came out with, and I believe then it was Peau de Soleil and then Peau de Rose, if I'm not mistaken. So Peau de Peche, I wouldn't even consider peach. I don't know why they call it peach. It is not peach. It's more of a, well, I guess it kind of translates a bit peach, but you can see what I mean by it being very warm, and it is quite pigmented. Like, that is a very pigmented highlight. So you can really sheer it out. So let me just show you a sheared out swatch. So I'm just going to shear it out with my finger, but it does still give you quite a bit of pigment. So there you go. There is a kind of blended out. Still kind of gives you that blushy vibe, which is exactly how I apply it. I apply it to like kind of the apples of my cheeks and work my way back. I'm going to swatch Peau de Soleil next to it because I feel like they're most similar in terms of the pigment. So this is definitely super coppery, very bronze. They all have a very interesting kind of like satiny creamy finish. They're not super creamy where they feel tacky, but they have kind of like a satiny velvety creamy texture to them. Okay, so here is Peau de Soleil. So you can see it's coming up a lot more coppery than Peau de Peche. This one definitely is pulling a little bit more peachy, a little bit more pink now that you compare it to here. very, very pigmented, and I think that a lot of people get intimidated when they have fair skin tone because they think there's no way that they can pull it off. I think it's super easy to pull off, and it does seem intimidating, but once I apply it, you guys will see just how wearable it really can be. And I'm just doing a blurred out swatch for you. So there's the blurred out swatch. They kind of look similar, Peau de Peche and Peau de Soleil, once they are blended out, but this one's pulling a lot warmer, a bit more orangey, coppery tone. Okay, so next let's move on to Peau de Rose, and this one I would say is the least pigmented, and it really goes a lot more translucent. So it has a very pinky undertone, and I find this one has a bit more like sparkle than the Peau de Peche and Peau de Soleil. I find the other ones are very like luminous, and this one kind of shows up a little bit shimmery. So far less pigmented, probably suitable for cooler undertones if you do prefer like a pink highlight. And do you see what I mean? It just looks a lot more sparkly. So I'll do and this one feels surprisingly a little bit creamier, less like velvety and really like emollient. And once I blend it out, I just find it looks like a very, very sheer pinky wash with much more sparkle, which I think makes it a little bit more difficult to wear on the everyday. So you can't really see the pigment, it's super, super light, but there is a lot of sparkle. So with that in mind, this is my least favorite. I think it's just a little bit too sparkly for the everyday. It will look a lot more highlightery, makeup-y on your face than kind of just giving you that very natural flush. So I will be demoing both Peau de Peche and Peau de Soleil on my cheeks so you can see the difference. And I'll tell you the brushes that I use to apply these products with. You can obviously use your fingers, that is totally fine. A lot of the time I find with these creamy products, it's great to apply with your finger and blend out with a, you know, sponge or something like that. But if you want to use a brush for precision, the one I've been loving is the Sephora Pro Foundation brush. This is the number 70. It's really short and they're super dense bristles. And I find that it just picks up a lot of the product. It's like the perfect cheek size and it just buffs it out perfectly. So this is the brush that I love. If you really want a super sheer coverage, you're not gonna maybe like this brush. I do like getting that opacity on. With the blender brush that Westman Atelier sells, I've seen her use it before, and the bristles are a lot flimsier. So I actually had this brush that I got from this brand called Merit. It's a new brand. It's actually an angled brush, and the bristles are still pretty dense but very floppy because the bristles are longer. And I find this is probably maybe the closest dupe to the blender brush that she has. It also looks really similar. So I will be using both of these just to test it out. Now I will disclaim I've never used this before, so this is the first time on camera. Okay, so let's start off with Peau de Peche. And I like how this kind of fits perfectly in the pan, not too big, not too small. I just swirl it in there. It's gonna pick up quite a bit of product. Let's zoom you in. So you can see how much pigment it's already laid down. And I have no other bronzer product on my face except for a bit of concealer. And I like bringing it all the way up my nose because I think it just gives that really beautiful après-ski slash youthful appearance. And I'm just keeping it where like the natural bronzer and contour would go. And I'll go at my temples with this. It is a bit peachier, so keep in mind it will give you a little bit of a rosy look. Just blend it out. So yes, it is giving quite a bit of pigment, but like look at that luminosity here. It adds warmth to the face. It just is so gorgeous. Now keep in mind this is a pricey product. You are paying $98 Canadian for this, and I believe price US, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I will leave it in the description down below. but I have to say this is a 3-in-1 product, maybe even 4-in-1 if you count your eyes. Of course there's sirens in every single video I do. Lately I've been applying it just on its own, and it covers as my warmth for the bronzer, it is my highlight, it is my blush, and then we can even just go in with our fingers, pop this on the eye. I'm gonna blend that out with this brush. And now it's my eyeshadow. Look at that. So, nothing. Peau de Peche. Next we have Peau de Soleil, which I used on my New Year's Eve look. I've used in some of my Get Readies With Me on Instagram. I've been doing more of those. Okay, so I'm going to show you the difference. When I swirl this brush in here, this is angular, but that's how much pigment it's picking up. So this might be better if you're a little bit scared of this color. I'm just going to buff that onto my cheeks. See, I can see this being a really good brush as a dupe for the blender brush. Not that I have it to compare to, but I do find it kind of looks the same. It kind of spreads out like the blender brush does in the videos I've seen of Gucci Westman applying it. And I apply it to my temples just like a bronzer. Let's apply it to the eyelid. We're doing that like monochrome look. I'm honestly just like seamlessly blending it all in together. This is like your easiest no makeup look. You're using a single product to do it all. I find that this brush definitely helps to diffuse the product a lot better so it doesn't look as pigmented. So definitely if you're a bit scared of Peau de Soleil for a fairer skin tone, this brush is it. So Peau de Peche, Peau de Soleil. So this definitely gives me a more blushy vibe, and this gives me a more bronzy vibe. So if I had to choose, I think universally the Peau de Peche will work on a lot of complexions, undertones. I honestly think that the Peau de Peche would be a beautiful highlight for those with deeper skin tones. Peau de Soleil would also work well with like medium tan to deep skin tones, kind of to give like a warm bronzy cheek or highlight. And then fairer skin tones, definitely use a fluffier brush if you want to kind of use it as a bronzer or blush kind of combination in the summertime if you're really fair and you're scared to use it. But I am fair with warm undertones and I can still pull this off in the winter time. So that's just kind of my take on it. I love both the Peau de Peche and Peau de Soleil equally. I think they're both gorgeous. I do think the Peau de Soleil the Peau de Peche is a little bit more user-friendly, a little bit less intimidating. Peau de Rose is definitely my least favorite. I don't regret getting it because it came with the holiday box, which comes with some other beautiful products. But this would be the one I recommend least, because even on fair skin tones, while it does cater to fairer skin tones in terms of the pigment, I do just think it's too sparkly. I think they missed the mark on that. The other two are super radiant and luminous, and this one, I'm just looking at the swatch, it looks like there's some little very fine glitter sparkle specks, which I think would just look like a glitter bomb in the natural sunlight. Here is Peau de Soleil, Peau de Peche. They are both gorgeous, they're both luminous. I think if you're doing a red lip, this would just be beautiful. If you're doing a nude lip, this would look beautiful. I'm just obsessed with both of them. That is my comparison. Thank you so much for watching. What Super Loaded Tinted Highlight are you interested in getting? Which one do you have? What are your thoughts on them? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you watched this video and you're not yet a subscriber, I would love to have you part of my clean beauty community. So hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in my next video.